Hello. Hello, Alex and Soft Chief and Nursel. Welcome to my live chat. This is my first ever chat that I've ever done, so I'm just kind of like testing it out. But yeah, welcome. So I'm just gonna like talk about myself as an author. Like you see the background picture. This is something that I designed and created. It's my books that are on Amazon. It's called The Story of Jason Griffin. The first book is Tales of the Two Servants, and you see this little guy here. He's like the little mascot of my books that I created. Is like an imprint. He's like a turtle rabbit. It's a bit hard to explain like why I created the turtle rabbit, but it's a whole another like story that I will probably get into in another live stream. Hi boy. Nice to see you. But yeah, so this is my book that I've written, and I wanted to just do a little read for people who may not know a lot about my book. Hello, Richard. Ook, is it Ook? Okay, I don't know how to pronounce that, but hello. So yeah, that's the inside cover. Can you see? No, it's a little bit off. But I've been working on these books for many years, since I was about 14 and a half was when I first had the idea. I'm 33 now. It's taken me many years to sort of perfect it. I wouldn't call myself like a natural born writer. I'm more of like a film, like movie buff. I hope you guys can hear me. I don't know whether the sound's working at all or not. But yeah, if you can hear me, give me like a thumbs up or something. If you can't hear me, give me a thumbs down. So yeah, I first had this idea for my book series when I was in high school and doing a creative writing project for English, and I was trying to get like one up of like the previous year, when I had a severe writer's block, and I got really stressed out trying to do a creative writing project and like not having any ideas whatsoever. So I thought, okay, for the next time I end up getting set a creative writing project, I'm gonna create 3 story ideas, so that at least I've got a good chance of actually finishing it in time. And then lo and behold, like literally a few weeks after I'd created these 3 story ideas, my English tutor announced to the class that, like, I'm going to set you a creative writing project. And so I thought, brilliant. And so I took this opportunity to actually like really knuckle down, and I chose the story idea that was originally the story of Jason Griffin. Hello, Static Brain. XOXOXO. Welcome to the chat. I'm just talking about, and also Zara F2302. Thank you very much for joining. I'm just talking about my book series and how I started writing it and how I came up with the idea. And so yeah, as I was saying, it was an initial story idea that I had for a creative writing project. Hello, Kayla. And in high school, yeah, I ended up getting a really good grade for this creative writing project. And halfway through, I just thought, you know what, I can just take these. I love the story premise as it is, and I would love to like take it further in the direction of doing like a whole series rather than just like one little chapter. And it started off life as just me like creating little doodles of the characters. Hello everyone, Kayla Kakluni Char, thank you for joining me. I hope you can hear me. Please let me know if you have any specific questions, or like if you'd like to say anything about like what sort of books you like reading, and like say if you have any questions about how to get into self-publishing, because I actually self-published my book. It was a very long process, and so yeah, when I finished my creative writing project in high school, I just decided to kind of teach myself writing. I know that some people might say like, oh, you can't teach yourself writing, you always learn from someone. Very true. But there were only like the teachers in my school there was only one teacher who really made an effort to show us how to do like certain punctuation and grammar. I had to actually ask them, like, can you do a lesson on semicolons? And so she like happily did one lesson on semicolons, and then I've become like an avid fan of semicolons since then. And so if you ever read my books, you might notice there are quite a lot of semicolons in there. But yeah, so throughout the years, after I turned like 15, I started reading more books, and I just started observing other authors and the way that they write. I wouldn't say I was very confident in writing, and I think that's what held me back the most, is just not feeling good enough. And I wanted to set myself that challenge of perfecting the craft of writing, even though I saw myself as more like a potential filmmaker or something like that. I'm a very visual sort of person, so I could imagine all my books already as like films, and I think that's kind of what helped me in the long run, because it makes it a bit more atmospheric. And I'm told, like, say when certain people have read my books, they've said that, oh, it's like I'm actually there, like, because the way that I write is very much like how I'm talking right now. And it's very descriptive, I'd say, my writing style. And yeah, so I ended up with like severe writer's block for a good few years. I managed to do a lot of research and stuff and planning, and then when I was about 17, I actually started writing the first chapter, and I just kept getting stuck on this one sentence in the first chapter, and it wound me up so much, and I think I was being a bit too perfectionist about it. Until when I was about 19, I believe, I went back to college and I took like an acting course, and I decided to take a break from my writing, and just doing the acting course actually like opened me up And also, I'm quite a spiritual person. That's kind of like what my books are about. It's got a touch of like spirituality in them. And I started delving into chakras and stuff like that, and trying to go through all my chakras. And oddly enough, after I'd gone through all my chakras one year, I was suddenly able to write the rest of my book. So I managed to get past that one sentence that I couldn't get past. And then within the space of like a few years, I wrote all 7 of my books. And so yeah, by the time I was like 24, I managed to write book 1. Was it 24? Oh no, actually, no, yeah, by the time I was 24, I managed to write all 7 of my books. It was by the time I was 21 that I managed to write book 1. And yeah, I stumbled across a community online of indie authors, and they actually helped me to grow my books to the point of actually self-publishing. I wanted to go the traditional publishing route at first, and then I just kept on getting this funny feeling that I would rather do self-publishing, because then I could actually express myself creatively, because I'm quite good at graphic design, and I've always seen myself as like an animator first, or illustrator first. So I managed to implement all of those skills into self-publishing my books. And the covers, these are covers that I've actually designed myself. So yeah, and then I have released all 7 of my books, but I've recalled 6 of them so that I can perfect them even more. And so at the moment, book 1 is available for anyone who wants to check it out. Again, it's The Story of Jason Griffin, and the first book is Tales of the Two Servants. Also, you can just click the link in my bio, and it should take you to my books if you want to check it out. Also, my name is Sophie Ann Russell. That is my author, that is my pen name. You guys can just call me Sophie if you like, or Soph. So yeah, lovely to see you guys. Again, if you want to ask me any questions at all about what it's like self-publishing, if you want to let me know about what books you like to read, then just pop in a comment. So yeah, I thought I'd just read you a small portion for now of my book. I'll read the prologue. I'll read the prologue. I'm sorry if I'm stumbling on my words a bit. But yeah. The wanderer crept through the forest at rather a brisk pace, in time with the sinister, undulating rhythm of the trees. He could not tell where he was going, and the further he walked, the more cumbersome and hasty his steps became. He wanted to get out of there, but what could he do now that he was trapped inside a forest without a name, without a hopeful light beaming in towards him from the moon to guide him to the place he wanted to be, and that was home. It was as if the trees were chasing him. The wind that had pulled him in was now playing games with his mind, and a kind of dreadful rippling could be heard. Or was that just his drunkenness playing tricks on him? He tried to pick up the pace and walk faster, even at one point breaking into a run, but he was forced to change speed on more than a few occasions, and tack, for the whistling, tuneful breeze was changing direction and coming at him from a different angle at every other moment. He could not keep up. His intense longing to find the culprit for this wicked game of tease, run and hide, just as his mates had teased him back at the pub, was making him sweat and his heart race wildly and in dreadful panic, together with his strange abnormal paranoia which had been awakened in him since the moment he had been lured into this dark, creepy abyss, where every clumsy, fumbling step he took, he would walk into someone, no, something, a tree, tall and imposing, intimidating, and yet he could see some beauty in it somehow. Was he just being silly? He stopped to catch his breath, and as he did so, for the first time, he began to take in his surroundings. His mind felt hazy, and he could barely focus on anything, for his invisible beer goggles were on. Suddenly, the breeze, which he thought was chasing him, caught up with him, sweeping his dirty light brown fringe upwards, and the rest of his hair backwards. He was pushed into the tree behind him, and he yelped, "Ah!" then immediately held on tight to the tree. He was so scared, but in a drunken, irrational way. This place really wasn't so bad. It was merely his Neanderthal-like perspective. The wind played with his hair a little bit more and welcomed him like a teacher welcoming a new child at primary school. "Where am I?" he whispered. There was an added tone of childlike wonder to his voice, though it was deep-sounding and husky, broken down from all the drinking. Indeed, where was he? And more importantly, where was he going? A few minutes later, he scrambled up off the ground and onto his tiptoes, then sprinted forwards, trying to get away from a creature that had momentarily brushed across his feet, after tripping over a fallen branch that was as thick as a log. It was only a rabbit, he discovered, but it had frightened the bejeebers out of him. He was looking back now as he slowed his pace down a little, enough to see that his paranoia had simply kicked in again. Surely this forest was haunted. It had to be, according to all those stories he remembered hearing as a child. So there must be something more frightening than a rabbit to be worried about. Indeed, there was something more sinister and creepy coming around the corner. But it wasn't an animal or mythological creature, which the wanderer was thinking might be inhabiting this deep and seemingly never-ending forest. What could be next? He wondered to himself. An owl hooted at him nearby, and then he heard the scuttling of some invisible beings at toe level. Ooh, he really wanted to get out of there, and fast. He could almost imagine those red ants crawling up his... No, just get out of here, he thought. And he saw a marvellous clearing in the distance half an hour later. Was this his salvation or his doom? So yeah, that's the prologue of my book, The Story of Jason Griffin. You can't see it, but yeah, anyone who's joined, welcome. And this is my book, The Story of Jason Griffin. It's a YA fantasy series, and yeah, I've just been reading a chapter from my book. I will keep doing lives, and I'll keep trying to read from my book, just to give you a little insight into what it's like. But all in all, my series, my first book, is about a boy who gets kidnapped as a baby, and he is brought to live in a secluded enchanted lake house in a lake, and he basically he grows up and he's brought up by this couple who turn out to actually be all an illusion. Like, it's they're an enchantment. So they're not really real. Yet he believes they're real somehow. And so when around the time that he turns like 15, they start disappearing from him, and he can't understand why until like they completely disappeared one day, and he's in shock, and he gets left a note by a mysterious being explaining that his parents were just illusions and that he needs to find his real family. And so he's set on this quest of self-discovery, and it's pretty much about there being magic in the world that we perhaps aren't in tune with at first, but some people like Jason can somehow notice it. And so he's put on this journey to find his real parents and reconnect with them, and then along the way he discovers that there's even more magic in the world that he thought possible, and he ends up learning to be a magician, and he sees mythological creatures, like he ends up meeting a griffin, and he also discovers a alternate world that is within the world that he is already a part of. And so it's like exploring the themes of like there being multiple dimensions. And I came up with this idea initially because I thought, well, what if certain things were real? What if Pegasuses were real, like flying horses? What if a boy saw a Pegasus flying across the sky as he looked out of his bedroom window? That kind of thing. And then that spiraled on, and yeah, it's just been a really like magical journey writing these books, because yeah, I never would have thought that I would have become a writer. I just thought that I had all these ideas of what I wanted to be as a child. I thought I might want to become an archaeologist. At one point I thought I was going to become a lawyer, and I also wanted to be a voiceover artist. But the whole writing thing, I thought, because everyone else was doing writing, I thought that was everyone's go-to. I just thought I didn't want to do the same old thing that everyone else was doing. So I poo-pooed that initially, and then as time went on and as I started doing more creative writing projects for school, I just thought, well, actually I would still be going against the grain by taking on writing, because I originally didn't see myself as a writer, or I didn't feel like anyone would really see me as a good writer. So I was just trying to, like, I suppose, challenge myself initially. I wanted to like better myself. I wanted people to see me as more than just what I appear to be. And I guess that's what the whole premise of my books are. It's just that there is more to the universe, there is more to the world than meets the eye. And if you're a believer in that, if you believe in like spirituality, and if you believe that there's more magic in the world, then I feel that these are the right sort of books for you. Sorry, I'm just losing my voice a bit. But yeah, I think I'm gonna call it there for this live for the time being. But I hope me introducing myself and my books, and me like reading from a little bit of my book, has maybe incentivized you to follow me. I do have Instagram, I have Facebook, so if you guys want to follow me on either of those, again, it's Turtle Rabbit Books, or I've got an Instagram for my book series, specifically The Story of Jason Griffin. I will add it in the comments section here, just so people can check it out. The Story of Jason Griffin. Book 1. Tales of the Two Servants. Out now. On Amazon. On Kindle and paperback. So that. And remember, link is in my bio. And I will add a smiley face. Oh no, actually I like that smiley face, that's better. I like that. That's a good one. And then I will add a... Oh, there's no other. Okay. That'll do. There we go. And yeah, so lovely to meet everyone, and I hope you join me for future lives. And I apologise if I'm a bit kind of awkward. This is just how I am. I'm quite a like down to earth sort of person. I don't like glitz and glamour and stuff like that. Although I do have a dramatic side. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye guys.